Okay, everybody set? Okay, right. Good evening, and we are back from recess a little bit longer than we had anticipated. Next up on our agenda, we are at item 2D, which is written communications. Do any board members have any written communications they would like to share? Seeing none, we will move on to item E, which is audience communications. We have Mr. Lloyd Romick. Good evening, Mr. Romick.
Good evening. The district recently made a $30,000 purchase of rubber mulch, kind of stuff you put under playground equipment, without board approval. Apparently this was an emergency purchase. Several people have asked why that was done that way and who approved it. And to date, there's been no answer. So I'd like to ask you, is it true that the reason for this is that a child fell from a piece of playground equipment and was seriously hurt because LPS failed to put it down in the first place? And is it in fact that you're simply not answering because it's rather embarrassing? Also, I bring your attention to Attorney General Opinion 5560. In that, when you create a rule for how the public can interact at a public meeting, it has to be in writing, it has to be posted in the board minutes. It is something you have to vote on. It's not at your discretion, and it must be specific and reasonable. And you must apply it to everyone. A few minutes ago, the Livonia police were called in to ask me to move my camera because the superintendent didn't like the portion of the audience that I chose to sit in. There is, to date, I've gotten no response as to what written portion of the rules that you have that applies to everyone that would forbid me from being there. But you certainly do allow other people to be up front in this center section with their cameras, including video cameras. You don't have that right. Whether you like me, whether I have bring up things you don't like, you don't get to decide what rules apply to who. This is straight out of the Open Meetings Act, and after just having breached it with the secret ballot at the last meeting, I would think you'd have taken a moment or two to read the thing. In fact, you guys are all very happy about how many classes you've taken from MASB. They offer one in the Open Meetings Act, and I would suggest that you take it or get their book and read it. It's put it out straightforward in plain English. You might be a bit surprised. Have a good night.
Go ahead, Mr. Freeman.
There are some things said tonight at the podium that you can take with a grain of salt. Just because they were said at the podium doesn't necessarily make them true. Please understand that. Those people listening at home.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. It is audience communications, and anybody who has a concern can always address the board and state their opinion and their concern to the board.